Hi, this year we're having a Hybrid Global TapRooT Summit. So what's hybrid? What's that mean? If you're familiar with the summits that we've had in the past that are live in person, we have that great, wonderful platform. We've mixed it up a little bit and also added a virtual element. When we put those together, we get hybrid.
Because there are people who are going to be at their desk someplace or at their house someplace at the summit, and there's going to be people there live. And we don't know how many of each kind we're going to have, but we're going to have some of both. We've already got people signed up for some of both. So this is our chance to tell you about how it works.
Right. So thanks for joining us today for TapRooT TV. I'm Emily Pritt, and I'm joined with Mark Paradise. We're going to dig in a little bit more about this whole hybrid summit and telling you how it's going to be a game changer. It's our first ever hybrid summit.
And we're probably going to talk more about the virtual aspects of that, not the regular summit aspects. So if you've never been to a summit before, well, let's just say it's a better conference than you've ever been to before, and you really enjoy being there in person, and I recommend being there in person if you can. But if you can't, and we know some people can't, they can't leave their country, they can't leave their state, they can't leave, maybe even cities, I don't know.
Yeah.
And if they do, they've got to spend weeks quarantining in special facilities. So we don't want you to have to do that, so we want you to be able to come virtually to the summit and participate.
And Summit Week is in June. It's the 14th to the 18th. In the beginning of that, we have PreSummit Courses.
Right.
And in the summit itself, that conference is when we'll be utilizing the software we're talking about today.
So but the pre-summit even, a majority of, or all of those courses, is every course has a virtual option, doesn't it? Some are only virtual, some are hybrid. They're virtual and in person. But you can take any one of those courses virtually. So that's really, if you're going to go to this virtually, you can go to a course virtually and then go to the summit virtually.
Yep. So we want to talk about what software we're using. And it's a funny name.
Hoover.
Hoover.
W-H-O-V-A.
Hoover.
Hoover.
Yeah. Now, Hoover's got some integrations built into it that will make this a real interactive experience, which is what we're looking for. And we're going to have people who are live, in person, or virtual, all using the app. That's
Right.
the idea.
So the point of Hoover is it has things built into it to make the summit more interactive. For instance, we're going to use it for the name game, so you can meet people through the Hoover app. You can see all the people, their backgrounds, and their, what do they call them? Do they call
the
them?
bio?
A bio. I guess it's a bio, you call it. But they have like you can put your little picture there. You can put where you work. You can put hobbies and fun things you do.
Like a mini social media thing.
It is. It is. It's well. It's probably more like LinkedIn than Facebook, but it is. You can put stuff about you there, and therefore other people can go and say, well, actually, there's an automatic function where you can go see who do you recommend that I meet, and it will go through their profiles and match them up with your profile and say, here's 5 people that I think you ought to talk to at the summit. And so it'll automatically give you ideas for people who you ought to be talking to.
That's really helpful for networking because sometimes you just have no idea.
Well, and if there were thousands, which there probably won't be, but then you wouldn't have a chance to go through them all. But even hundreds, it's a lot of profiles to look through.
There's also a feature in there, if you have a one-on-one conversation with someone, you want to make sure that you're secure, it's protected. So there's integrations into Hoover to avoid being hacked. Because that's the last thing. That's the last thing you want is to be on a video chat with somebody and like, whoa, what's this?
Yeah, what's going on here?
Yeah, and you're not turned into a cat or anything funny like that with Zoom and all that. So I like the security aspect of it too. It stays professional. There's nothing that you have to worry about that could happen with hackers, and also integrated into that as well is your environment, your location. Our phones, as smart as they are, there's geolocators and all kinds of stuff within them that Hoover has a security in there to make sure that everything stays private.
Okay. The other point that Hoover allows is we're going to have general sessions and breakout sessions, and you can participate in the breakout session. You can be sort of live there, watching on your screen, and you can ask questions.
Yeah.
And you can type in your questions, and there'll be a moderator, and the moderator will be looking for questions. And I guess it depends on who the presenter is, whether they want all their questions at the end or whether they want them as they go. But if they want them as they go, you could type in a question and the moderator would break in and say, I've got a question from Lou, and Lou wants to know blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
And you could really participate in a conversation that way.
Another thing within Hoover is the community board. And in there, there's Lost and Found, which is more helpful at the summit.
There's not going to be too many virtual people who are lost.
You never know. But then also in there is just finding things. There's polls, which are helpful too to tie things together.
I've already got 2 polls on there, so you can.
Oh, better go
you
check
can.
them
Well,
out.
you can go see. You can tell me how you know Admiral Rickover if you do, and you can also what is your favorite trending tool that you use or graph type that you use for the trending talk I'm giving.
Okay. And so there's a lot of other features in there that will make it interactive. And you can still, I'm sure somebody's going to go into the Lost and Found and say like something silly.
Like I've lost $100. Does anybody have it?
Okay.
Tell me about virtual happy hour.
Virtual happy hour, it sounds fun. So here's what I'm trying to do. I want to get in touch with all of our TapRooT instructors across the globe and make it TapRooT with a twist. I want to get recipes, a drink and an appetizer, something that's quick that people could make, get the recipe cards ahead of time, and then pass them out so people are ready. So when it is virtual happy hour, we can celebrate across the globe with different things because we're a global company.
They will have their own little drink that they made up and their own little appetizer for their happy hour. That sounds great.
It's ways to try different things. So I want to, here in Knoxville, we've kind of got our own little palette of things that we do that's kind of normal for us in our area. But I'd like to see like what is a dish or a drink that's somewhere I've never been. What's their staple for their country? Just get some different ideas.
The other thing I think that sort of goes along with that is we're probably going to have speakers held over after their talks during the breaks, so that people can sort of virtually meet the speaker. If you've got questions you didn't want to ask in front of the whole class, you can communicate with the speaker. And I haven't figured out yet how we're going to do that, as to whether we're going to have a screen in each room so that you could stand there and look at the speaker. Well, if the speaker's in the room, they'd be looking at you on the screen, or vice versa. If it's a virtual speaker and you're participating, can you have the speaker on the thing and you're talking to them? So we're going to try to do some of that also. One thing we're going to have is at the end of the summit, we have the Roadmap to Success session. And we're even going to have breakouts for 4 different breakout groups in that session for the virtual people to participate in. What we do in the real summit is people get around tables and they share their ideas and they develop this Roadmap to Success. The ideas they're taking home and how they're going to implement them. And they share those and get feedback on it. We're going to make it so that people who are virtual can do that as well. And so there will be a virtual Roadmap to Success that they're working on, so they get the same experience as the people who are in the room do.
Very cool. I like that.
So another thing that I think is interesting is the amount of support staff it takes from us to do this. I mean, I thought, virtual, what do? You stand a camera in the room and you just film it, right? But that's not it. It takes about 4 times the number of people to produce a virtual summit as it takes to produce a live in-person summit. Because just in one breakout session, you'll have the speaker, you'll have the moderator, you'll have the person running the camera, and let's see, the 4th person, you'll have all the people participating then. So at least 3 people in a room, sometimes 4, just to produce one room. You've got 4 breakout rooms, that's 16 people. And so all of a sudden your number of people and the staff you need to produce one of these is really a lot larger than it is doing just a live summit.
Right.
The other thing I wanted to talk about was how do we get people to register for this? What do people have to do? So what will happen is when you register for the summit, you pick, I'm going to be there live or I'm going to be there virtually. And if you pick one and need to change later, you can do that. But you pick one, and if you pick virtual, we will then, actually if you pick either one, virtual or live, you're going to get an email from us that says, here's the link. You need to download the Hoover App on your phone.
Yep.
So you got your phone, you need to download your link on your phone, And then you're going to also probably go to the Hoover website, and if you're going to bring your laptop with you, or if you're going to be, working from home or working from your desktop, you're going to want to get the Hoover website up, because you can get in either way, through your phone or through your website. And so if let's say you're a person attending the summit and you're going to be there in person, well, you're still going to want to have your phone to use, because you're going to be taking the session surveys. How good was this session on your phone? You can look up the speaker information on your phone. You can look up other attendees. If you get introduced to somebody, you can quickly look them up and see what their background is.
If you lose your $100.
If you lose your $100, you can get lost and found and say, hey, anybody got an extra 100? I seem to have lost mine. So everybody, whether you're attending virtually or attending in person, will be using these apps. And everybody, once again, let's say you've got 2 sessions, but you can only be one place at one time. There will be recording the sessions, and sometime after that session's over, that will be going live on the app, and you can then go watch another session that you couldn't be at. So there's lots of useful stuff in this software.
It even has a built-in itinerary, and you can favorite or star things that you want to make sure, like, let me make sure I remember this. So it's very helpful.
If you've been to a real summit, you know that on the back of your badge it says what session you're supposed to be in. And I think they're trying to set it up so that when you register, those sessions automatically appear starred in Hoover. Now, I'm not sure if they've got that figured out yet. If they don't, we'll have to send you, here's what you want to star, because that's the ones you picked. So that's another really good aspect of this, and it's much easier than to say, where am I supposed to be now? And you don't get lost. You don't have to put yourself in as lost. What session am I supposed to be in?
Where am I? Help me. I found this person. They don't know where they're supposed to go.
So you'll be getting an email from us that'll tell you, here's the place to go to download the link, to download this. Here's the code you need to put in to get in. Then you need to do some work, because you'll need to go in there and put your picture in. You'll need to go in there and type your little short bio that you need to do, so that other people can know to meet you. And you'll need to go in and look through the sessions and say, I registered for these, but hey, maybe I really want to be in that session over there, because we need to have a good idea, because of limitations on number of people who can be in a room, what session you're going to go to, so that we can make sure we put the ones with a lot of people going to it in the big rooms, and not so many people in the small rooms, so we can get everybody in, because you know how COVID is. You can only have so many people in a room. Well, we don't even know what the restrictions are going to be by then. We know what they are today, but they may be different by the middle of June, so we'll have to see how that works.
A final note on Hoover, something I think it's really cool as well, is a virtual way to exchange data. You can exchange it with who you want to. So when you're creating your profile, put in your information, your phone number, your email, because along the way, instead of trying to say, where's my cards at, you can electronically share that through Hoover, and you deploy it however you want to whoever you want, which makes it really useful.
So let's say I wanted to talk to Emily, and she's gonna be at the summit, and I'm gonna be virtual. So I want to introduce myself to Emily and say, I think we've got things in common. I could send her an invite, and then she has the chance to accept or reject that invite. And then if she accepts it, then I can call her through Hoover, just like a phone call. And I can do that through my computer, using the camera on the computer, or I can do that through my phone, just like a real phone call. And we can link up and talk about things. And if you had somebody, let's say you had somebody in the session you were in who asked a really good question, and you wanted to follow up on that, I could say, Emily, I thought that was a really good question. Can we talk about that some more? And he'd send that, and then you'd say, yeah, that'd be great. And then boom, boom, you can connect up and talk.
Just exchange information seamlessly.
Yes. So that's another really good feature. So I think there's really, whether you're going to be there virtually or in person, I think this software is going to enhance everybody's experience.
That's it.
And I think it's going to cost us a lot of effort to make all this work seamlessly, but I think it'll really be good once we get it.
It'll be worth it.
Yep.
Is there anything else we need to add?
Well, so they already probably know, we've seen the keynote speakers, right? We know who they are. You've probably seen the video where we talked about the keynote speakers. Number two, you're going to go through and look at all the different sessions. We've had a video about all the different tracks, and each of the track leaders have talked about their different tracks. So that's something else you can go look at, and you can go look at that at the www.taproot.com/summit. I think there's another slash after it, but I think it works whether you put another slash or not.
I think it'll work it out.
And so you can go look at what all the sessions are, what the schedule is, and then you have to decide: are you going to be there in person, or are you going to be there virtually? And go register. I think that's the thing you really have to do, is to go register, because it's coming up. It's not that far away, and you need to get registered, because we need to plan, and you need to plan. And even if you're going to be there virtually, you need to decide what course you're going to take and what sessions you're going to go to, and get registered so we can send you the information you need to download these apps and get everything set up before the summit starts.
Yep. And Summit Week is June 14th through 18th. So you're right, it's right around the corner.
14th through 15th are the PreSummit courses, and the 16th through the 18th is the actual summit.
Yes.
And for those coming in person, make sure you stay till the end, and so you can see UT football, great, and great for sort of a different reason, but great Inky Johnson speak, and he's our closing speaker, and he gives a talk that's a change your life kind of talk, and you definitely want to be there for that.
All right, well, thanks for joining me today, Mark.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for everybody watching. We'll see you next week. Don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell, and we'll be here next week for another edition of TapRooT TV.
Bye.